Good morning, everyone, it is good morning for some. We have a number of our guests that I certainly want to welcome from across the Pacific. But, of course, good afternoon to most of us. My name is Kent Calder, and I'm the director of the Reischauer Center for East Asian Studies here at Johns Hopkins University SAIS. Thank you for joining us in this very, very special Maritime Symposium 2024, Sea Lane Safety and Supply Chain Resilience for Economic Security. We're tremendously honored to host this event together with the Japan International Transport and Tourism Institute USA, or JITTI. Before we begin, please note that this event will be conducted in 2 languages and that we offer simultaneous translation via the headsets at your seat. And if you are going to use the headphones, the English is at channel X and the Japanese at channel XX. If you have any problems with your headset, please find a member of the staff, they're around the edges, to help you. And I do want, since this is also being broadcast to our Japanese audiences and online as well, I did want to say just a word of greeting in Japanese. Minasama, konnichiwa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kent Calder of Reischauer Center. I'm the director of the Reischauer Center. And thank you so much for participating in your busy schedule. This event will be done in Japanese and English, and you can use simultaneous interpretation. If you would like to use, please use the headset that is at your chair. English is channel 1, Japanese is channel 2. If you need any assistance, please talk to the staff members nearby. Now, from here, we would like to start the interpretation.
Today's event timetable and speaker bios and guest surveys, I should also note, can be found through JITT's website at jitttiusa.org. Now, with those sort of procedural matters finished, let me formally offer a warm welcome sincerely to everyone who is joining today's symposium online, here in the audience, here on very close to the shadow of Capitol Hill, where, as you know, the inauguration parade for our inauguration of the president is going to be held early in January next year. We're very lucky in joining this symposium, jointly hosted, as I mentioned, by SAIS and JITTI. In opening this symposium, I did want, right at the outset, to say just a few words about my own personal mentor and the founder of the Reischauer Center for East Asian Studies here at SAIS. Our center is on the verge of its 40th anniversary. We're going to, the opening of the formal activities of the center was in 1985. So 40 years ago, we are one of the oldest centers of U.S.-Japan relations in the United States. Right from the beginning, we've had very strong ties with U.S. Embassy Tokyo. Of course, Reischauer himself, after whom our center is named, was ambassador to Japan from 1961 to 1966. A founder of our center in the 1980s, George Packard, later became Dean of SAIS Johns Hopkins as well. He was the personal assistant in Tokyo to Ambassador Reischauer. Nathaniel Thayer, who later headed the center for some time, also was the public affairs officer, Minister for Public Affairs of U.S. Embassy Tokyo when Reischauer was there. And since then, several deputy chiefs of mission, William Sherman, Russ Deming, a distinguished political minister counselor, David Scheer, who also was ambassador to Vietnam, served with us here at the embassy, and also Professor William Brooks. And myself, for 4.5 years, I served with U.S. Embassy Tokyo. So we have tried to maintain these deep relations with Japan, and in that sense, this conference is something very special to us. The subject as well of today's conference, that is to say, maritime security, and especially in the U.S.-Japan context, is also, it's something personally very important to me. Both my father served with the U.S. Navy and retired from the Navy. My mother served during the war as in the waves, the auxiliary of the Navy. Several relatives have graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy and served in important positions, one including the commander of the U.S. West Virginia, the battleship. My own personal work relates also quite heavily to maritime issues, as of course our moderator for today's panel, a close friend, Jeffrey Gresh, also does. The issues that we focus on, of course, within maritime security, certainly the importance of the economic dimension. The seas are more than 70% of the world's surface, but 95%, as many of you know, of the internet actually flows beneath the seas, including rapidly developing services between Japan and the world, and across the Pacific and the Indian Ocean and so on in various directions. The 90% or so by volume of international trade, of course, flows across the seas, as we know. And 50% of that, more than 50% actually of that total, within the Indo-Pacific itself. Of course, the U.S.-Japan dimension, as I indicated, is a matter of tremendous importance personally to me, having served in Tokyo, having family members on both sides of the Pacific. And but it's also, from a global point of view, extremely important. We, as I think our participants and most of our audience, of course, knows, the U.S. and Japan, and this, it seems to me, is one of the strongest arguments for our cooperation, collaborate very closely in a variety of ways, but they have we have strong complementarity with one another, which is one of the greatest, most important dimensions of our cooperation. Japan's strength, for example, in shipbuilding is highly complementary with what once were strengths, but that, of course, over the years have atrophied significantly in the shipbuilding area. Another area of complementarity, of course, is shipping itself. And so The strengths of Japan in those areas can significantly complement the requirements that the United States has, which of course becomes an important argument for cooperation. The challenges, many of these, of course, will be presented by our panels, and I look forward, and the ambassador, of course, we're very lucky to have Ambassador Yamada with us. So I won't deal with those in detail, but obviously port development is one very important one. An era of rapid technological change in container shipping and changes in optimal scale of production due to automation and related security imperatives are changing the profile of what's needed in the area of ports. Shipbuilding, obviously, as I have said, China now is by far the largest shipbuilder in the world. The United States needs to expand and refurbish and increase its capabilities, and allies such as Japan are tremendously important in that regard. There are important environmental issues on the sea lanes, but most importantly, perhaps today, and I'm sure this will come out in the panel, geopolitical challenges loom large. It goes without saying, the South China Sea, the areas close to Japan itself, where Japan shares sea lanes with Korea, China, and other Indo-Pacific nations. But further afield, as we see so dramatically since the outbreak of the war in the Middle East and the Ukraine conflict as well, the Red Sea, of course, the Black Sea, these maritime issues that have global importance are becoming clearer and clearer challenges. Just as we have the challenges, and I'm only prefiguring what I know will be extremely interesting and important comments from the audience and from our panelists, the opportunities, shipbuilding, the complementarities that I mentioned, and capacity building. I was out in Palau not long ago, and I certainly saw those things. The Coast Guards of both countries and the collaboration that they are doing in the Pacific Islands, for example. Coast Guard cooperation or cooperation between both Coast Guards, and I'm sure several people will mention this, joint observer missions that the two countries are doing. So there are a range of concrete areas where we will be able to go forward further. And in conclusion, and I think this certainly will be echoed in our panels, and all of us look forward to hearing from them, international cooperation, particularly U.S.-Japan cooperation at this critical time, is absolutely vital. It makes us more than simply the sum of the two very important countries that we are. And so I look forward greatly to this panel.